立法會
The President. Addresses. Mr. Xiu Kafai will address the Council on the Public Accounts Committee Report number 83. Mr. Xiu Kafai. Thank you, President. On behalf of the Public Accounts Committee, I table the committee's report number 83, which covers 8 chapters in the Director of Audit's report number 83. I will now give a brief account of the 2 chapters on which public hearings have been held. Regarding Chapter 1, Nano and Advanced Materials Institute, the committee expresses grave concern that the government-funded NAMI Nano and Advanced Materials Institute has failed to meet a number of performance targets during the period from 2019 to 2024. The committee notes that the main reason for this is the conservative approach of local small and medium-sized enterprises towards investing in innovation and technology amidst the past epidemic and uncertain economic environment. This has resulted in NAMI not meeting its targets for projects commenced and completed, leading to a reduction in industry sponsorships and commercialization income. The committee strongly urges NAMI to strengthen collaboration with local and non-local organizations to initiate worthwhile research projects and step up its commercialization efforts to boost its income. The committee also urges the administration to review whether the current practice of returning any unspent balance of Innovation and Technology Fund to the government will indirectly encourage R&D centers, including NAMI, to deliberately use up all the grants to avoid having any unspent balance, resulting in wastage. The committee also expresses serious concern about the multiple modifications of business travel arrangements and approval procedures for claiming subsistence allowances and entertainment expenses involving the then CEO, as mentioned in the audit report. The committee notes that, as agreed by both NAMI and the administration, there were inadequacies in the prevailing procedures and arrangements which called for improvement. Under the leadership of the new CEO, NAMI has established new guidelines stipulating that all modifications of business travel arrangements and claims for subsistence allowances and entertainment expenses involving the CEO are subject to the approval of the chairperson of the board. The new guidelines also state that employees should avoid varying business trips for personal reasons. To ensure fairness and impartiality, the committee strongly urges supervisory staff of subvented organizations to set a good example by proactively refraining from self-approval or referring such cases to their subordinates for approval, even if this is not expressly stipulated in the guidelines. At the same time, supervisory staff should continuously refine and review the relevant guidelines and establish a clear and explicit approval mechanism to avoid any conduct that could give rise to an actual, potential, or perceived conflict of interest. Regarding Chapter 7 to Moon Check Lab Code Link, the committee expresses grave concern about the cost control of the project by the administration. The committee notes that the cost of a public works contract mainly comprises the construction cost of works items, provision for contingency, and provision for price adjustment. The last one is to cope with fluctuations in the cost of labor and materials during the contract period. However, under the existing mechanism, when it is not possible to deploy other resources, controlling officers can use the surplus in the provision for price adjustment to cover additional costs incurred due to unforeseen circumstances. In fact, 5 out of the 8 works contracts under the project required the use of the surplus in the provisions for price adjustments, and their final total expenditure exceeded the original total contract sum. While the project as a whole, with the full coverage by the contingency provision and provision for price adjustment, has not exceeded the funding of $46.7 billion approved by the LegCo, The committee considers such circumstance undesirable from the perspective of cost management. The committee urges the Works departments to adhere to the original resource allocation in the implementation of Works projects. The committee also expresses grave concern about the supervision of project consultants and various contractors by the administration, in particular the faults in the estimation of materials and the preparation of tender documents, which have led to additional costs, as well as inadequacies in the handling of site accidents. The committee strongly urges the administration to explore the introduction of risk-sharing clauses in consultancy agreements and a mechanism to deal with compensation events, whereby consultants should assume certain responsibilities in relation to the progress, cost control, and risk management of Works projects. When taking forward a Works project, the relevant department should proactively seek legal advice and consider bringing claims for compensation to protect the government's interests if the consultant is found to be involved in potential professional negligence or breach of contract. The committee also notes that the consultant and contractors were given a poor or even very poor performance rating in some aspects by the Highways Department. However, under the existing tender evaluation mechanism for public works projects, they were still able to be awarded other public works contracts within the subsequent 3 years. The committee is strongly of the view that it is necessary for the administration to review the existing tender evaluation mechanism to give more weight to the past performance of tenderers. It should also explore the introduction of a blacklist mechanism to increase the deterrent effect and motivate the industry to improve service quality. Last but not least, I would like to thank members of the committee for their contribution. I would also like to express my gratitude to witnesses who attended the hearings and the Director of Audit and his colleagues for their cooperation. Thank you.
Questions. Question 1.